Assalamu alaikum. Remembrance of death. Remembering death or meditating on death is something that we need to help us propel us in our deen and to make us better Muslims. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that أَكْثِرُ مِنْ ذِكْرِ حَازِمِ الْلَذَّاتِ, increase or profusely remember the destroyer of pleasures, meaning death. Remembrance of death is not something, firstly, it's not something morbid. It's something, it's a reality that we have to face death. By remembering it, one makes proper preparations and it improves a person's deen and values the time that they have in this world, and they'll work better towards the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the purpose of our life. So by remembering death, we have to take time for that. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't just say remember it once, he said increase from it, meaning profusely remember death. For that, one has to remember death in their household, when he's among his family, when he's at work, when in all occasions and day and night has to remember death. And we know that one of the du'as for sleeping, you're forced to meditate on death. There's a sunnah du'a before we sleep, Allahumma bismika amutu wa ahya. Oh Allah, in your name do I die. There's variations of it. I die and I live, or I live and I die. And the du'a for waking up as well. Both of them indicate towards another type of sleep that is permanent, which is death. So it's built into our deen, and it's something that we order to increase the memory. So we have to do it a lot. Why is it important? Because that is the thing that makes us a better person and makes us a better Muslim. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam teachings are so many, and the talks on those teachings and the deen in Islam is so much. The books are so much, the speeches are so much. But in this time, it seems, and the ulama have pointed out, that it affects people very less. The change and transformation, the rectification, the islah that is in people is very less. One of the reasons, if not one of the main reasons, is that we don't remember death sufficiently. So therefore, there's another narration that tells us the benefit from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu narrated, that he was one of 10 people with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of the Ansar among them asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that who is the most intelligent of people, who is the most honorable of people, O Messenger of Allah? And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, the one aktharuhum dhikran lil mawti, the one who makes the most profuse remembrance of death, wa ashaddu isti'dadan lahu, that he's the one who most intensely makes preparation for it. They are the akyas, they are the most intelligent. They taken the sharaf of this dunya, the respect of this dunya, and the karamat al-akhirah, and the honor of the hereafter. And this hadith is with a good narration, chain of narration. So this is something like that we need to do, because else all these talks and things are not affecting us. Why? Because the reality of death is not in front of us. And what is the honor of how is a person honored by remembering death? So a famous pious person, Abu Hamid al-Lafaf rahimahullah, mentions that the one who profusely remembers death, he's honored with three things. Ta'jil tawbah, hastening to tawbah. That the one who remembers death a lot will do tawbah quickly. Like you do something wrong, then you have to make amends for it. Like a tawbah is generally for something very serious, right? And a person commits a sin, does something wrong, but because they remember death a lot, they will not delay in their tawbah. They will do their tawbah very quickly. Second thing, the person will have contentment in his daily bread, meaning in his earning, his income. He'll be happy with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will not be complaining. So he have qana'ah, contentment in his earnings and his income and his livelihood and so forth, and what Allah has given him. And the third thing that the person is honored with is nashat al-ibadah, that he's energetic in his ibadah. And so the reverse is of these three, that if a person who forgets death and he's deprived and he's punished and he loses out on remembering death, then he delays in doing tawbah. He's not happy. He expresses displeasure with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided. Even though what is sufficient for him, he's not happy with. Like if Allah has given him what he wants, meaning that he's surviving and he's paying his bills, let's say, kafaf, like it's sufficient for him, and Allah has given him his daily bread and so forth, he's not happy with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him. And thirdly, he becomes lazy in his worship of Allah, which is the purpose of our life. He's lazy in the acts of obedience and the acts of worship. So the one who remembers death a lot, he is honored with an immediate tawbah. He hastens and he quickly makes amends and makes tawbah. The one who remembers death a lot, he's contented with what Allah has given him. The one who remembers death a lot, he is energetic and not lazy in his worship. How we do this practically? Well, one of the ulama advised that he practically, this is his experience, he practices, like sits down for a few minutes, let's say 5 minutes. You can do it in your own ways. If you're to remember death and your death, right? Not in a general, just in a general sense, your specific death, that one day I will die, one day I will. So he imagines that maybe, let's say, I have a heart attack and I'm taken to the hospital and the doctor gives some time, a very short amount of time that I'll be alive. And then I will I'll pass away, my family's there. Then my body is taken to get washed and the coffin is put on me. And then the stuff, hopefully we die as mu'mineen, and that's done to us. And then a safs are made and prayed on me and taken to the grave, put in the grave, and gradually, all my friends, they come to make sure, put more dirt on me at the grave. And like that, a person uses imagination. We use our imagination for all sorts of worldly things, but if we use our imagination for our thing that we're supposed to remember that hasn't happened yet, as instructed and ordered by Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and then the grave is, then they leave. So for a few minutes, bring this reality to the mind. This is the thing that will help a person propel them and move in the deen. It's not just a random thing Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has just told us off the cuff. No, this actually goes to the reality of our being as a human being, that we are here for a short amount of time. Remembering the shortness of this life and remembering that there's an end point of our life, that we have some point that we'll leave. And then as the grave is a container of deeds, then our good and bad deeds, the effects of our life will become manifest there. Therefore, we have to spend time on a regular basis remembering death, and the benefits is very far-reaching in terms of our spiritual life, in terms of our conduct, in terms of our overall practice of deen. If we do this a lot, we'll see all those talks, all those speeches, all those books that we read, all those things will come into focus, and we'll be able to implement and take those things, and it'll be those things will become transformative and change our life for the better. May Allah will purify us, will transform us, will rectify us, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding and tawfiq to practice what we're saying here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.